Is Bhavish Aggarwal's Ola Electric building the future of batteries or running a high voltage race? In this video, we will explore 4 critical questions that decides whether Bharat Cell is world class और locally better. What's inside Ola's battery? Ola का नया भारत सेल 4680 कैसे आगे है 2170 सेल से जो वो पहले इंपोर्ट करता था? How does Ola stack up globally? क्या भारत सेल वाकई दुनिया के लेवल का है या सिर्फ भारत में बेहतर दिखता है? What are Ola's competitors doing? Ather, Bajaj और TVS EV रेस में पीछे छूट रहे हैं या सोच समझकर कदम बढ़ा रहे हैं? Is Ola ready for battery track of tomorrow? क्या भारत सेल नई बैटरी टेक्नोलॉजी और नेक्स्ट वेव ऑफ इनोवेशन के आने पर भी कामयाब रहेगा? Let's move to our 4 slides. So now let's look at Ola's 4680 cell जो वो domestically बना रहा है versus 2170 cell जो वो पहले import करता था. Now 4680 और this is the existing 2170 cell. Now let's first look at energy density. This is 275 weight hour per kg. This is 250 weight hour, per kg. This is much better. Density means how much energy a battery can store in a given weight, the kg or the volume liter. Now Bharat Cell has about 275 weight hour per kg, roughly 10% more than the existing 2170 cell which it imports. Second is the charging speed, 80% in 15 minutes. Now this is 30 minutes to charge 50%. So this is charging 15 minutes में 80% battery charge हो रहा है. So 4680 is much better than the existing 2170 cell. Cost, they have not specified the cost here, but this is higher cost. Fourth is very important, the lifespan क्या है, durability क्या है. This is 15 years, 1000 plus cycles. Here it is not specified. So let me explain what is cycles here. Now one cycle is equal to one full charge plus one full discharge of that battery. So if a battery survives, let's say 1000 cycles, it actually means you can charge and use it fully about 1000 times before its capacity starts dropping significantly. Now these are the advantages we have seen, but let's look at the disadvantages of 4680 cell and what are the challenges Ola is going to face in 4680 cell. First is a brand new, which means no mass market proof yet. While 2170 cell have powered Teslas and scooters worldwide, Bharat Cell is still waiting for its first road test at scale. 1000 cycles sounds great until you compare it with LFP, the lithium iron phosphate battery. They are doing 2500 plus cycles. So Ola may outperform in speed, but when it comes to lifespan, it is not the longest runner in the race. Now Ola's 4680 Bharat Cell is lithium based, just like LFP, the lithium iron phosphate battery. Both are lithium ion batteries, but with different chemistries. Now this is very important. Now let's look at Bharat Cell. Bharat Cell is nickel, manganese, cobalt, lithium ion, focusing more energy and range. LFP is iron phosphate, lithium ion, focusing on longer life and safety. That's the basic difference between these two cells. This is a very important slide, Bharat Cell versus LFP versus NMC. Now the chemistry likely NMC or similar high energy blend है. This is lithium iron phosphate है और यहाँ पर निकल, मैग्नीशियम, कोबाल्ट ऑक्साइड NMC है. अगर डेंसिटी देखें तो 275 weight hour per kg है. This is 160 to 180. This is 250 to 270. So these two are in a way comparable. The NMC versus, but this is LFP is much lower. Now charging time देखें तो बहुत कम है, 15 minutes. यहाँ 25 से 35 मिनट है, यहाँ 20 से 30 मिनट है. So in terms of charging, this is much better. Cost per देखें, kilowatt hour देखें, likely lower than NMC. NMC से lower है. This is the lowest. So यहाँ बैटरी चार्ज ज़्यादा टाइम में कर रहा है, but cost यहाँ पर काफी low है. And this is higher. Supply chain पूरी domestic है. This is a big advantage. Here it is global and this is mostly international in the global. So both are global. Here it is domestic. So this is again is advantage. Ola. This is advantage. Ola. This is advantage. Ola. Now we have seen Ola cell scoring over LFP and the NMC. But let's look at some of the disadvantages of this cell and what are the challenges. Now let's look at the flip side of going indigenous. More expensive than LFP. So while cheaper than imported NMCs, Bharat Cell still costs more than LFP, making it harder to compete on price in mass market electric scooters. Second is a shorter lifespan than LFP. LFP sells 2500 to 3000 plus cycles, nearly double the cycle of Ola's 100,000 plus cycles claim. That's a long-term value win for LFP backed rivals. Third, unproven at scale. The Bharat Cell is new, untested in real-world volumes. Early adopters are essentially beta tester until performance and reliabilities are validated at scale. Execution pressure with high stake bet on in-house cell production. Any delay or quality issues could backfire, hurting brand trust and delaying profitability targets. Now this is a very important chart of EV makers cell strategy comparison. Now Ola is India's only EV two-wheeler OEM with an operational cell gigafactory, putting it ahead of Ather, Bajaj and TVS, who still rely on imported cells. Now let's look at Ola Electric. Current cell source LG Energy and CATL से वो cell लेते हैं अभी existing. Indigenous cell manufacturing, yes, which they have set it up. Cost strategy, vertical integration है, and cell manufacturing plans, commercial production by 25-26. That has already started. Now let's look at Ather, which is a big competitor to Ola. Current cell source likely import से सारे. Indigenous cell manufacturing नहीं है, no. Ola scores over it. Cost strategy, external supply chain में dependent है. Cell manufacturing plan, none announced. So यहाँ पर Ola clearly scores over Ather. TVS motor को देखें, current cell source LG है, यहाँ से LG Energy से लेते हैं. Indigenous cell manufacturing नहीं है. Strategy in-house pack assembly. Cost and strategy in-house pack assembly है. Manufacturing plans TVS indigenously. Manufacturing plans, yes, TVS has some plans on this side. बजाज ऑटो अगर देखें करंट सेल सोर्स एक्सटर्नल सप्लायर्स है बजाज के. इंडिजिनियस सेल मैन्युफैक्चरिंग नहीं है. कॉस्ट एंड स्ट्रैटेजी सोर्सिंग इम्प्रूवमेंट and cell manufacturing plans, none so far. So very first disadvantage is the execution risk. Battery cell production is complex and capital intensive. Scaling from pilot to full scale mass production is unproven, a major risk to timelines and quality. Second is the cash burn and profitability pressure. Ola has reported 428 crore net loss in Q1 of FY26. So high capital expenses, gigafactory, R&D, add pressure to hit break even fast. A financial burden that more asset-light player like Ather avoid. Still relatively new in EV reliability. Ola's vehicle and cell are still in early stages of real-world validation. Established players like TVS, Bajaj benefit from decades of quality control systems and mature supply networks. And last is the brand fatigue and market share drop. Ola's market share fell from 50% to 17%, indicating consumers' hesitation. So recovery now hinges on the success of untested in-house कंपोनेंट. ये एक बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट चार्ट है कि अभी बैटरी में किस लेवल पे इनोवेशन हो रहा है. ओला तो अपना एक सेल लेके आ रहा है, बट उसके आगे भी कुछ ऐसा काम हो रहा है कि दैट कैन गिव अ बिग थ्रेट टू ओला सेल. सो लेट्स लुक एट द परफॉर्मेंस ऑफ बैटरी innovation. Now number one is lithium sulfur batteries. Lithium sulfur batteries promise high energy with low weight. This is at the top where a lot of innovations are happening. Second, very important, is the solid state batteries. Now solid state batteries offer high energy density and safety. This is very important. Global giants like Toyota, Stellantis, Nissan are pushing solid state batteries with high energy density, safer chemistry and ultra fast charging, potentially making Ola's 4680 cell obsolete by 27-29. This is very important. Number 3 is the sodium ion batteries. Sodium ion batteries are safer and cheaper. Now sodium ion batteries developed by Faradian, a Reliance acquisition, promise lower cost and safer chemistry, posing a serious long-term threat to Ola's NMC based format, especially for budget EVs. Now other thing is the execution and scaling risk. Unlike BYD and Tesla, Ola is new to cell manufacturing. Scaling up production while maintaining performance, safety and quality standard is a high risk challenge with no room for error. Now other point is the Bharat Cell 1000 charge cycles, while LFP rival boasts 2500 plus cycles at lower cost. So fleet operators and price sensitive buyers may prefer longevity over raw performance. So despite localization, India still lacks a deep battery ecosystem, competing with Korean and Chinese giants in terms of R&D, speed and materials in expertise is a long-term uphill battle. Ola's Bharat Cell is bold, but innovation is not just about headlines. It's about execution, it's about durability and staying ahead of the curve, especially when global giants with proven track record are already walking ahead. So the question now is not just can Ola charge ahead, can they keep up when the battery game itself is being rewritten?
Hey everyone, only 1 in 10 viewers actually subscribes to our channel. If you're part of the 90%, change that today. Help us grow and hit the subscribe button.